Hey lawn lovers, BW here. Hey, it's time to do my final spring leaf cleanup, so stick around. First I'll give the front yard a quick blow. This is perennial ryegrass with a little bit of Kentucky bluegrass mixed in it. I replanted this just this last fall, and it made it through the winter pretty well. There's a few brown spots around, but I'm hoping those will green up here pretty soon. They probably just need a little bit more time and some warmer temperatures. If it doesn't green up on its own here pretty soon, I'll have to put down some more grass seed. Around the side of the house here is nothing but old, common Kentucky bluegrass that was here way back when the house was built. Over the last couple of seasons though, I've overseeded this with perennial ryegrass. It's really improved the density of the lawn, and it's given this area a nice dark color. I used fungicide for the snow mold this winter, and you can really see how the snow mold is trying to creep over the property line here. If you've got a big lawn and you don't have a leaf blower, I really think it's something you should save up for. I think it could be the most valuable piece of equipment I have. I even use it in the wintertime to blow off the cars and clear off the back deck. And without a leaf blower, these chain link fences would really be a pain. I can blow a lot of leaves right through the fence, but of course you don't want to do that to your neighbors. This particular blower has a 4-cycle engine, so there's no mixing oil in the gas or anything like that. And it runs a lot quieter than the 2 cycles too. Maybe the best thing is that it doesn't smell like a 2-cycle either. Oh yeah, have you ever gotten too busy where you can't get the lawn mowed in time and it's growing a couple of extra days? And then when you go and cut it, you got all these grass clippings laying all over and they don't just settle into the grass like you hope they would. Well, that's where a leaf blower really comes in handy too. You can just go out there and blow them around and they settle right in for you and they disappear. Okay, it's time to round up these leaves a little bit and then I'll be able to pick them up with the lawnmower. You may have seen my other video when I just used a piece of cardboard and a rake to gather up these leaves and get them into the bin. Well, this time I'm going to use the lawnmower and it'll mulch them up and compact them a little bit better. After a long winter, these leaves have dried out a little bit more and have become more brittle, and that way they crunch up and compact much better. You're probably wondering why I'm not just mulching these leaves right into the lawn, because I'm sure you've heard 100 times that mulching the leaves into your lawn is good for the lawn. Well, most of the time that's true, but these are all oak leaves. And oak trees and grass just don't get along very well. In fact, oak trees commit a kind of a chemical warfare against the grass called allelopathy. They put out a chemical that inhibits the growth of grass, thereby eliminating any kind of competition there may be for food and water. So growing grass under oak trees can be very difficult. The oak trees rob the grass of valuable sunlight, food, and water. So if you're going to try to grow grass around oak trees, you really need to pick up all the leaves and all the acorns and sticks and anything else that the oak tree might drop on the lawn. I believe this is also true for black walnut trees and any other kind of nut tree. I'll put a link under the video so you can learn more about allelopathy. This is really a neat little battery-powered mower I have here. I've had it for about 3 or 4 years now and it's never burned a drop of gas. This model isn't self-propelled, but it's so light that it's really easy to push. It only weighs half of what a gas-powered mower would weigh. That makes it ideal for mowing newly planted grass. I have to say though that it doesn't cut quite as finely as a gas-powered mower, and it doesn't mulch as well either. This mower does a pretty good job of picking up the leaves though, and it's really easy to empty. This mower is so quiet that I have to actually turn up the volume so you can hear it. It actually sounds a little bit like a little beehive. I've done a lot of seeding experiments along this fence line. The grass never really grew very well here because these big pine trees cast a lot of shade, and that really gave me an opportunity to try some new varieties of grass seed. Up in the very top corner there I planted 100 square feet of perennial ryegrass. That was my first ryegrass experiment, and that turned out really well. Right behind both of these trees I planted a mixture of Kentucky bluegrass and fine fescue. But the area became very overgrown with the fine fescue. Hardly any of the Kentucky bluegrass grew at all. In between the two trees where it gets full sun, I killed off some coarse tall fescue and planted some newer varieties of Kentucky bluegrass. They weren't elite varieties, but they were some of the newer ones, and I wanted to see how a general quality Kentucky bluegrass seed mix would look. And then later I did an experiment where I overseeded that same Kentucky bluegrass mixture over top of the fine fescue that's behind that far pine tree there. I wanted to see how well that would overseed. I've actually had a lot of problems with the fine fescue varieties I planted behind these trees here. They're newer varieties and they're good quality grass, and they seem to like the shade okay, but they go dormant very easily in the heat of the summer. So I think I want to go back to some more shade-tolerant varieties of Kentucky bluegrass. Okay, let's suck up the rest of the leaves here. I've got my camera mounted on the fence, and it's kind of fun to hear how the sound vibrates right up into the camera. When you hear that, it kind of gives you an idea of how quiet that lawnmower really is. Here's another good reason to have a leaf blower. They do an amazing job of cleaning the pine needles out of the lawn for you. I'll go around the rest of the tree later. For now, I just want to finish cleaning up along the fence here. Hey, don't miss my next video. I'll show you how much fertilizer to use. Until then, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, and then ring the bell that pops up next to it. That way you won't miss the next video. Now get going, you can do it.